And you just heard the U.S. ambassador talking about the U.S. embassy helping in terror training to equip our security to handle the situation. You heard the President Mahama also talking about the need for awareness creation among the citizens, and the unfortunate part which he decries, he's unhappy about, that in communicating the information, someone appears to have communicated the intelligence, and that was not good enough. We'll ask questions about media responsibility also, as Kojo Yangsing asked yesterday on the morning show, whether the media should have covered that portion or should have gone ahead, and are there any implications that we are putting all of that out? Will the Ivorians who gave us that information trust us to continue to give us a lot more information if they get from any terror suspect? And then you heard TB Joshua, the prophet, doing what some have called a mere imagination. Some say he gave Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, and those days we have just today to go, so we still have to be careful. Anyway, why are you laughing? Okay, so how you start with you? How do you take in the news, which is becoming consistent? And our national security is now trying to get all of us on board to be alert. If you take WhatsApp groups and all of those individual WhatsApp, people are sending even contacts to the military, where to report to and all of that.
If you have a modicum of information about terror attacks across our region, then I don't think that is any surprising that we are coming to the decisions and the realization which we are having now. For quite a good number of years now, terror attacks in Nigeria are common occurrences, and the results devastating. Churches bombed, marketplaces, mosques, including the capital Abuja itself, has suffered from the activities of Boko Haram. Then you come to Al-Qaeda in the Maghreb and their activities in Mali. It's well known. Then just up north, our immediate neighbor to our north, Burkina Faso, it happened not too long ago. And then our immediate neighbor to the east, Ivory Coast, just happened. So naturally, we should be concerned that these activities are taking place around us, and certainly we can also be a target. My concern is the verbiage, the constant reference that is in the public domain. You know, as if we have a certain expectation that come tomorrow we will be the next target. When we ourselves constantly are sending signals of expectation to those who are terrorists, then I think that they will be encouraged to look at us even more than we are seeing now. The kind of information which became public knowledge, and I think I agree with the president, I think many people will agree, that it's not the best to come from somebody who is supposed to have been trained in security matters. Because certainly he gave out too much of information in that memo, which was leaked to the media. I should think that in matters of this nature, even personal contact would have served a better purpose, where senior personnel from the security forces should have gone to have meetings behind closed doors with their officers in the field and divulge this kind of info. Because the moment you start a paper trail, the possibility of that information leaking out in this age of media polarity or pluralism is there. And so I think that our security forces and the intelligence community should become more aware of these things, that the moment they begin to put things on paper, which is evidence, is likely to be in the public domain.
And as a veteran journalist yourself, do you feel that the media ought to have exercised a certain responsibility to take away that portion of the information, intelligence?
Certainly, I think that we could have done better, particularly the media houses which first received this information, all other media houses. Matters of national security are very important. It affects everybody, including those media houses themselves. When you have such information, I think the best thing is to go into conference and let the whole editorial board of the institution take a decision as to what you want to do with that particular. And if they had done that, I'm sure that there will be voices of reason and moderation which will say, let's not put this portion of the information out. Let's do the 1, 2, 3. Because the media is a very important player in the security of the country. They are the ones who will put out information for citizens to know what to do and what not to do in critical times. And so we can't discount them. But when they have information which is clearly not intended for them, they should be very, very careful the portions, or whether to not even put out that thing. But they can also consult. They can consult the national security to find out whether this is coming from you really, and should we put it. Assuming national security comes out to deny that this did not come from them, what would be the reaction of those media houses? So it's very important to always, check and cross-check and check again before we come out.
Kweku, before you start and to give us your general take on the issue about this aspect, and also being, the journalist that you are, you also feel that the media should have done something. And what are the implications of putting out that information, that intelligence that was given by a neighbor?
I'm not a hypocrite when it comes to media practice. In fact, I have a difficulty doing peer review. And I know it's a weakness, but I accept it.
But now that is where you sit, because we look up to you, for training and for guidance.
Yes, but I'm very careful how I go about it, because there'll be an element of hypocrisy, of double standards. And I know I'm going to restrain myself not to give examples of what Amate Kwame's Ghana Palaver did relative to security issues. But I would focus on the main substance here. See, the thing first exploded on social media before the mainstream media.
Right.
I'm not sure what the ethics are relative to social media and how we're going to manage that. That's an area we have to be interrogating. Then when it comes to the traditional media, the mainstream media, which only reported things that had come to their notice, the principle is self-policing. I, as an editor, would exercise my discretion, take a decision as to how to deal with the matter. I'm not about to ask all other editors and media houses to go along with my discretionary powers. What I do, I can't. It's unfortunate. It's a weakness, I've admitted. But I stay out of peer review because I can be cited for having used material, whether obscurity implications, in a way that people thought was wrong over the years. So I find it very difficult to come and sit here and start analyzing others. That's why I said I restrained myself from pointing out.
No, but I ask obviously because you guys,
it's a good question.
For where you have gotten to now, you certainly, with the benefit of hindsight and experience.
It is a good question. You've asked a very good question. I'm unable to give you an answer that will satisfy you because I do not want to be a hypocrite.
Right.
That's what I've said.
Right.
But we'll have to go for our code of ethics and see whether this publication by the mainstream media violated any specific code in the ethics it'd be very difficult to find it. Take it from me. You know that? It will be very difficult. If you brought the GJA Code of Ethics here and go through it, it will be very difficult. That's why I say it comes to a level of self-policing.
Right.
You deciding to exercise your discretion in a certain manner. And I leave that to myself. Now let's deal with the substance. The primary focus is not the way the media, either social or mainstream, treated this matter. The problem emanated from the Ghana Immigration Service. Look, there was no new alert, terror alert. There has been none. The terror alert that is in place is the one that was issued earlier. Based on shared intelligence with the Ivorians and things and the probing they are doing, our national security gets the information to the effect that one of the suspects has mentioned Ghana and Nigeria, Togo, not Nigeria, Togo, as possible targets. Even the reason given that I thought was a bit funny about, because they didn't want to create the impression was francophone countries. I have said here, if you recall, with the Deputy Interior Minister, that our participation in Mali, peace enforcement operations in Mali, could itself be an attraction. Also, the fact that we have Western installations that they perceive as bad also could be an attraction. Okay, I find that more substantive than this thing of not making people think we are targeting only francophone states. But that's intel that the national security had. So all they did was to issue a directive to the heads of the various security agencies that this is the information we have, these are the things you should do. The person who, the GIS person, had no business at all circulating the contents of the intel. That is where the primary matter is. They treated it in an unprofessional manner by disseminating the information to lower levels about this is what to do. All you had to do, as the president indicated, was to say that, look, these are the things we have. You the heads, it's okay if you the heads have it.
Right.
And the information classified in a way that you know the contents don't belong to every Ghanaian or every officer. So these are the things. Be alert, do these things, do that, don't do this. That's all. But if you put that info, you recopy virtually what the national security had brought to you and then send it downwards, it obviously will leak. So that is where the problem is. The unprofessional treatment of the national security directive and not the media treatment of the leak, how something that had been leaked.
Okay.
You see? So that should be made clear.
Right.
Then you come in with this prophetic scaremongering coming from all these pastors and agents of God here and there. Egbert is laughing at me because he's more disciplined when it comes to, the spiritual matters. But let me be very frank with you. In any case, the National Security Intel the directive is dated April 9th. It preceded or predated the prophetic scaremongering that was issued on the 10th of April. But of course, the leakage or the public circulations came after both,
right,
9th and 10th.
But there was an earlier alert.
The earlier alert is the one that we all know of.
Right.
This was not an alert in terms of distinctive meaning.
Right.
Now, because there had been this prophetic scaremongering, somebody, and I don't have the evidence, as Dr. Eni did, and he was careful. He said he's playing the devil's advocate. I was with Alasan Suhini on Metro. He also played that devil's advocate, and that's exactly what Dr. Eni did. It's a possibility. I don't have evidence to push that line, but post the leakage, there were efforts, especially on social media again, to say that this is a vindication of what the prophet had said. That's crude. That's crude. There's no basis for that, because as it's been put, who didn't know before the prophecy? It's a prophetic scaremongering, rather. It's not prophecy. Before that, who didn't know that based on intelligence estimate of how the terrorism scare is going, we could easily be a target too? Who didn't know? Burkina happened, like Cote d'Ivoire happened, it's happened in Mali. So we all, and that's why there was that alert, earlier alert. So already we have been placed there. And look, I have said that if we decide to bring in this caremongering and the distortions that even came with the SA3 about mercenaries, terrorists, we do that, we disarm ourselves. We don't forge the appropriate level of community security consciousness that could help the security services to deal with these menace. Because we bring in distortions, we pollute the actual concepts. And this whole thing, that is part of it. This prophetic thing was part, I'm talking of the post-leakage, the attempt to link the two and to try and give vindication. I'm sorry if I'm hurting some people's religious sensitivity and sensibilities. I'm very sorry. But this is hardcore analysis we are doing on Newsfile. And the tradition is there. So one has to be clear in my mind what I'm saying. So please, let's look first at the primary source of the unprofessional treatment, which is the GIS. Whoever did it, I'm not asking for any heads to roll.
Right.
No, but I am pointing to that source.
Mr. Lowe, what would you say about the manner in which the security agencies are treating the information that is coming vis-a-vis preparing the people to be alert? Often you hear members of the security agencies or their leaders simply say, oh, just be calm, it's okay, we have everything is in control, just be calm and just be on the lookout. For example, the police was spoken to, and the graphic reports, Sefasata, who is the director of public affairs of the police, saying, among other things, that I quote, in view of this, the police is seeking the cooperation of the general public in the fight against the scourge of terrorism and violent crimes. The public is therefore implored to bear with the police any inconveniences, efforts to deal. I think there ought to be some in the efforts to deal with the situation. Meanwhile, members of the public are also entreated to be vigilant and to report any suspicious parcels or items left at public places and other vantage points, or questionable characters to the police for necessary action. The statement urged the statement said police are to be reached on emergency lines, MTN, Vodafone, short code 18555, and all networks 191 or 030-277-3906, 030-277-3906. These are the emergency numbers, and it says that once again the police wishes to assure the public that we are on top of the security situation in the country.
Well, it's. I think that if you take the police statement, I think they could have done otherwise. Looking at the situation in which we find ourselves, and Kweku makes a fine point when he talks about our overbearing attitude towards these things. I mean, everybody is talking about this terror threat as though it is a very simple matter, you know, and every 2 or 3 persons you hear talking there. That is not the way to approach it. This is a serious security matter, and that is why I think that the president was spot on when he said that the management should be very professional. You know, but we are there already, so the police can only ask for our cooperation and give indicators as to what we should do in case we find ourselves in a situation. But you see, I don't know. I don't want to join Kweku too much in his analysis. But I am a Christian, and I believe that God exists, and I believe that prophecies may come here and there.
No, I believe in that. I said prophetic scaremonger.
Yes, but I also think that if I were a prophet in a certain capacity, and I indeed saw this vision, I would rather I call the very high security operatives and have a discussion with them. You can ask your church to pray for the country, but you don't give them indicators as to was going to happen because it's a security matter.
Yeah, but he needed to advise them on the prayer points.
Yeah, but they
needed to pray, and they have to be specific with their prayer. The Bible says you pray, you don't get answers because you pray amiss.
Please, please. Secondly, you see, bringing the matter home. We have had an alert as early as, I think, 5th March or so. And if you don't need to be a soothsayer to understand that we were in difficult times in terms of these things.
And in Parliament, you actually put in some security measures.
Yes, of course, across board. And I think that it was worth everybody. So, I mean, long before this one, I have had a pleasant and an unpleasant of driving on the Dodowa Road. My father lives down there, so occasionally I go and pay a visit. And I get stopped by the police and they check my car thoroughly. Initially, I kept asking even at that time, an alert had not been issued. So it tells you that the security
particularly when you are entering hotels these days.
Yeah, even then, before then, this was just around Christmas and things. I just get stopped.
Hotels, they are using body scanners.
Body scanners and things
to scan.
Yeah, I have told them that it's not enough. I have told them that it's not enough and that they should look for some real scan. But I think that we are converging towards a certain point, and we must intensify these things. Being on the alert is very important because you see, the little information you find may be. Because these people are sophisticated. So now they are not doing the traditional things that we all know. That they can put a big bunk somewhere, run and keep. No. Even the pens they hold can be as lethal as anything. So I think that the security alert is right. But let me just add to both Kweku and Ameto that, you see, in times like this, rather than leave the media on their own, this is also the time to get editors and other people to understand security implications, particularly in a field where we don't have security reporters, as in other jurisdictions. It's not out of place at all for the national security to gather some key people or each.
Speaking Egbert's mind.
Yeah, each media agency should designate 1 or 2 people as people who would be treated on some of these things, so that if releases and things must go out, they must probably be looked at. I also think that I share the president's sentiment. You see, I received this thing, like Kweku said, on social media. And it was sent by somebody I thought should be more security conscious than me. I saw it on a certain platform. And it was sent by somebody who sits in a district security meeting. It just tells you that people don't realize some of these minor things. So we should just continue to educate. Because like Kweku was saying, I would have thought that even if it's just regional ministers, because they are chairmen of the regional security councils, were invited to a closed door meeting and told about this, and like Ameto said, and that we didn't have a paper trail, and briefed thoroughly, and directed us to the things they can do. I think that we will not be where we are with this matter. But let me just make it open that, believe you me, be whatever you or whoever church you want to attend, this matter is very simple. That government has been up and doing long before these prophecies. Ask who wants to put it. Religious scaremongering, prophetic scaremongering. I think that we should stop that. We should move away from that, and we should pay attention to the fact that this is a real challenge. And I don't believe that if the people came in and we started praying, it will stop them. The answer doesn't lie in praying for particular countries. The answer, because like we see, Kweku was saying, if we were to be singled out, then if you were saying that Ghana and Togo, and that they wanted Ghana because it was Anglophone. Togo is Francophone, so why would they have added Togo as a possible?
Okay.
And then to make the point, Ameto said something that was also very instructive. You see, when you start talking about Nigeria, how can you be talking about Nigeria in terms of prophecy that Nigeria will be attacked? When on daily basis you hear that Boko Haram is bombing here, bombing there. I have been to Abuja to see.
No, he said it will be foreign. So Boko Haram is not foreign.
Please, who do you know who Boko Haram is?
Brother.
Do you know them?
When you mention Boko Haram,
I am saying that you know yes, but you know that Boko Haram is somewhere in Cameroon and other places.
Okay,
so let's put these things in proper perspective.
Thank you. Now, Egbert, what's your confidence level in how the nation is being prepared?
I will speak to that, but if you permit me, I want to start from a certain plane. I was very worried when President Mahama came out to speak about this so-called leakage, and in the process validated the leakage, that indeed what we got was a security report that should not have been put out that way.
Oh, what's supposed to be wrong with that?
No. You see something? The gentleman who signed the memo, do you know him? I don't know him. And in the area where people are creating all kinds of forces, any serious security setup will, on the back of that, have issued a statement to say people should disregard that statement because it has never been issued.
No, but after it had been circulated to people below, if they got this counter thing, they can even demoralize.
No, if you let me land, you know where I'm coming from.
Okay.
You issue a disclaimer and call a meeting of departmental heads and say, look, it is because of information management and public safety that we have issued the disclaimer. The public ought not to know that this is an official document. But in any event, within us, let's take this thing serious. You understand? And act by it, and even more. That way, you understand, a certain level of calmness will be achieved outside. But also within the security setup, people will not go to sleep. I am worried that the president, he meant well, maybe. But I would have thought that communication experts and security experts would have looked at this, weigh the various options, and if possible, take the position that, look, let's issue a disclaimer, you understand, to douse certain fires. And then on the hindsight, let's, take the thing serious, but also warn our security operatives.
But you'd acknowledge that
this is your opinion.
You'd acknowledge that as a commander-in-chief,
people's start was
this sort of intel comes to him directly, and he's hoping to continue to get the cooperation of his colleagues across the board, so they will give him information. So if he says this and his colleague gets to hear, he would find that, look, we can continue to trust them and to feed them with information.
No problem. But we have lived in this country before, and there are very evident things that have happened within the corridors of power, the corridors of government, and government has issued disclaimers. But deep within them, they know that what is out.
Just hold on 1 minute. Quickly, you say you disagree with him, and what's the point of disagreement?
Well,
in terms of intelligence,
that is Mr. Babu. He is entitled to his opinion.
We disagree quite often. People don't know. Very heated debates. But this one is looking too artificial for me. The approach is
have cabinet reshuffles.
Let's hear him first.
No, this is looking too artificial. Look, it's an intelligence blunder, which ought to be actually punished, sanctioned severely, and it's gone out. It was all over, pervasive. So if the president comments on that, that even serves as a deterrence for future misconduct in that area. I think that rather we should be looking at who caused that blunder and seek to sanction, rather than suggest that, look, this blunder has been caused and the effect was already pervasive. Let's issue a disclaimer that that thing is not authentic, and then call the heads and tell them that, oh, it's authentic, let's proceed. I find it very difficult to approach intelligence management that way. I have to be honest.
Yes.
I think what Egbert has suggested would have been a very dangerous trap for the president. We don't expect the president to kind of manage information which is already in the top public domain in that manner. This information has seeped to the lowest level.
Said that.
The person who signed it is a designated officer, second in command of immigration service, the deputy to the head of immigration. And so, if such a person has given information which is already out in the public domain, how can you say it's not true?
It will create credibility problems in future he issues some other statement.
Yes.
Okay.
Let us admit that he got it wrong. But to say that information did not exist.
Okay. Can I proceed?
Yes, proceed.
You see, I'm very thankful that Kukuba is not the president of the Republic. I'm thankful that my friend Amato Kwame is also not the president, and I am also not the president. These are their opinions. My opinion is that the gentleman who signed the thing, Kweku says he's an, what do you call him, immigration person. And you will see, ADI, it means Assistant Director of Immigration. I am saying that if I were to be involved in the communication management of this thing and how it went out, a possible area would have been for a disclaimer to be issued just for purposes of calming public nerves. But within, investigate and check how the leakage even happened. The punishment that Kweku Baako is talking about, let it be done, or the sanctions, let it be done. And then we tighten the thing. You see, as it is, everybody is on tenterhooks. And we are talking a social media in Ghana, usage of social media in Ghana, where even cabinet reshuffles have been put out. Even earthquake has been published by, what do you call it? Social media. And we've come out to deny it and all of that. Well, some people say there was no need for that. It is their opinion. But I'm saying that in these times, right, everything is possible, such that the president ought not to have either commented at all, because I think that his commentary rather validated the memo. You understand?
My question to you, substantive, was your confidence level.
Yeah, but I'm going to come to that.
In the preparations and how the security is carrying everybody along. You go to court almost every day, and before you enter, you know, you go through the checks, and it delays you. Do you feel bad about that?
I don't feel bad. You see, we must all sacrifice something for our general safety. You understand? But I think that our security agencies, trust they are doing, are not taking the security threats seriously. But go to Kaneshi Market, go to KJTR Market, go to Markesim Market, go to any market, noted market in this country. There, apart from the daily normal market, what have you, there are also market days. Where is the security presence?
What should they do?
I don't want to even see police presence in the markets, like policemen in uniform. I would prefer police snipers in mufti, hanging around the entrances, designated areas, so that in the event of a terror strike, the turnaround time to deal with them and to take them down can be faster. Almost zero. You understand? Because the purpose will be to minimize in some instances, and the purpose will also be to prevent. The Garissa.
You wouldn't know if this is going on.
I wouldn't know, but I'm saying that I am speaking as a citizen.
Okay.
And I'm saying that even if I don't have to know, you understand, assuming it is not being done, I am saying it so that if anybody is listening, let it be done.
Okay.
Look, the Garissa University attacks in Kenya.
Bloody.
We go to secondary schools, we all visit, what have you. You want to convince me that our pupils or students in secondary schools and universities are protected? Nobody can convince me otherwise. So you see, we have the general areas where people congregate and all these things. I'm expecting, and I hope that it is being done, that contingency plans are being taken. Now, the TB Joshua factor. You see, when we were all growing up, we read stories about, is it Heidi, the mountain girl, if my memory serves me right, and of course there was also this story about crying wolf. You understand? Is anybody looking at the situation and saying that the gentleman is crying wolf? I would rather that in spite of all the fastidious positions that we have, he has said what he says he has seen in the spiritual realms. I don't have a spiritual eye. None of us, you see, I believe, has that. Just let's take the precautions.
Okay, thank you.
And then you see, let me also say something about the Christian Council. I've noticed a trend. When various men of God speak, depending on where they stand, we get our gentlemen from the Christian Council come to issue all kinds of statements and directions. When TB Joshua spoke, they came and said, security matters cannot be resolved spiritually and all those things. Please, we don't need that. We don't need that. Every man of God or woman of God has their calling.
They said the national security should not be left to prophecies.
Some are evangelists, some are apostles, some are prophets, some are pastors. You understand? Some are reverends. There are different grades.
Some are bishops who congregate, thousands
there are grades
at the Jubilee Park.
Some people
contest with
Samson, those things.
There's
fine.
Christian
Samson, let's deal with it.
Yeah.
I even have an issue with that because I was in Kumasi on the day, and I think I passed by the venue. As to how a man of God can bring a crowd, not spontaneous, to the Jubilee Center, which is a public facility, and the police have up to now not called him to ask him who gave him the permit to congregate there in the first place. Beats imagination. We are not a lawless country. You understand? All I'm adding is this, that it appears that some of our men and women of God, you see, people think that if a man of God has a PhD, proper, not the wayside ones, proper, and is chairman of Christian Council and what have you, that means that he has a direct telephone link to God. You understand? So they cannot be Christian. I dispute.
Okay, thank you.
I dispute.
Thank you.
As Egbert said, there's a difference in opinion, and it's, it's beautiful.
Okay. Right.
But you see, that's the point. The alert, general alert, had been given by the appropriate agency of state, and measures are being put in place. Whether adequate or not is another matter. We don't need this prophetic scaremongering as an extra alert.
Thank you, Kweku.
And
thank you.
It confuses.
Thank you. Let's hear what our viewers, listeners are also saying. And with regards to the Kumasi, the Jubilee Park, we understand that the owners of the park or the authorities are actually on the heels of a gentleman who works with a radio station who appears to have prepared the place for them, that he didn't secure the requisite permit.
I'm happy to hear
and
that.
now they are going after him.
Interesting.
You bring a coffin, and if somebody had gone into the coffin and died, the laws of Ghana do not deal with spirits.
Okay.
So what charge would have been brought?
It is this man of God who wanted to go into the coffin or what?
Professor Diego.
Okay, thank you. Now, this from my friend who took over from me as the JCR president of the Kwafo Hall, Senyor Hosi, he says the TB Joshua prophecy and prayer presents quite a dilemma. 1. Should the prophecy come to pass, will it mean TB's prayers were not effective or evidence of the legitimacy of his prophecy? 2. Should it fail to come to pass, will it mean the prophecy is false or the prayer worked? Conclusion: whether the said prophecy comes to pass or not, TB Joshua will be a hero to some and a fraud to others. For some, this may sound like the classic prophecy which tells a 9-month pregnant woman that she will bear a child and it will be a boy or girl. Those are interesting prophecies, and they say it will be a girl or a boy.
Just to ask you a obvious question.
Yes.
You and I breathe air.
Yes, we do.
Have you seen air before?
No, I can't. Yeah.
But so this is how faith is
Thank
based.
you.
So somebody
Thank
has
you.
spoken.
Thank you.
My faith tells me that it is possible.
Okay.
So I should look out. Your
Okay.
faith may tell you otherwise. It is your opinion.
Okay.
We have the general to guide us.
There's a
Nobody has called for.
Sorry, gentlemen. There's a Kruger who says that I think we need to be a bit fair to TB Joshua.
Yeah.
If you listen to him carefully, you should realize that his Thursday, Friday, and Saturday is just not this week, but Thursdays, Fridays, and Saturdays from the time of his prophecy to the end of
eternity,
to the end of this month.
He didn't say that, man.
He didn't say that. He didn't say that. For eternity.
He specifically said this month.
Did he?
Yeah, he specifically said this month, quote unquote. Made a similar points. Okay, thank you very much for your comments. And then Alhaji Ali Ishak says, I'd like to know who takes care of our fellow brothers and sisters at the various markets, i.e. Makola, Kejetia, and the rest, because these criminals, especially Boko Haram, do not target hotels or Western installations mainly. Their targets are usually mosques, churches, and etc. Salam, peace. peace to all. Okay, so Egbert was saying just what you are saying. Osman Rajab says, our country, Ghana, has been the luckiest among the West African countries. First, we were praying against Ebola, and now terrorism attacks. Why do we always yearn for the bad things? May Allah protect our beloved country, Ghana, against all forms of attacks. Do we think a terrorist will knock at your door to attack? Why do we always advocate for misfortune? Are we really advocating for misfortune?
I don't think so.
Samuel Bryan Boabing Aoshi says, so Nana Akufo-Addo having reservations about those Gitmo 2 now means he approved of them to be relocated to Ghana? And in what capacity did he approve when he was so-called consulted? And two, and in what way does the U.S. ambassador's comment go to sort of implicate Nana Akufo-Addo in this Gitmo 2 issue? Did it rather vindicate Nana Addo, or it was just a matter of beating a dead horse? Musa Abator says that I am surprised Egbert is still defending the indefensible. The fact is, Nana Addo has been exposed again. Okay, I was telling you guys about this. Has been exposed again. It was started by Nana Akumia when he said Nana Addo has not been consulted before the transfer was done, which contradicts the facts. Then Nana Ansa Obofor in the UK says the US ambassador is confused and is being mischievous. Ibad Ibrahim has come out to say he lied about his claims that Nana Addo was consulted 6 months prior to the arrival of the Gitmo 2. The government goofed, and because Ghanaians are not happy with Mahama, they just want to draw Akufo-Addo in. Government must be serious with our security. Ibrahim Kopa in Tamale says, it is unfortunate that the NDC, through its conspirators, through its conspiratorial associates, are struggling hard to bring Nana Addo, and for that matter the NPP's name, into the Gitmo brouhaha, just to neutralize the negative tendencies the NDC has suffered for bringing the Gitmo 2. Unfortunately, Ghanaians are more discerning and will never fall into this propaganda piece. Sofo Yamusa in Kumbungu says, what do the NDC propagandists try to achieve by their insistence that Nana Addo had prior knowledge of the Gitmo 2 detainees? Since when did Nana Addo become important when he doesn't deserve to have his own security protection? I think this is unwarranted and must stop. 2016 will surely be based on issues and not on propaganda. Kwabna Odro Kwating in the New York says that in realizing the severity and sensitivity of these detainees transfers, the U.S. Congress passed a bill on November 10, 2015, banning such Gitmo transfers into the U.S. Why has Parliament ignored in making such a decision in Ghana? Our Parliament has become a rubber stamp, towing the line for the president, especially if they hail from the same political party. We need parliamentarians with the moral independence and fortitude to make patriotic and independent decisions. It's hard time. Thanks for those messages. And you have been tuned into and watching Newsfile. This is your most authoritative news analysis show, and my guests have been Kweku Bako, Ameto Kwame, George Lowe, and Egbert Fable. The show is brought to you by Bank of Africa, strong as a group and close as a partner. MTN, welcome to the new world. Star Assurance, they've been creating smart since 19 85 and celebrating 30 years of solid partnership. Now, are you a public service worker and need a loan that meets that dire financial need? Here is some good news coming from Bank of Africa. Apply for a loan from the Bank of Africa and you are sure of getting your loan approved within 48 hours. Enjoy up to 5 years to repay. Get a discount on fees and ultimately start repaying the loan after 3 months. That's some good news. I don't think you get this anywhere else. Visit any Bank of Africa branch nationwide for inquiries. Bank of Africa, they are strong as a group and close as a partner. Well, tomorrow Sunday, the footballers will meet at the park, the Omuchio guys at their joints, and the church folk will share the grace, and friends and family will come over to visit. But now, with MTN Sunday Special, your Sunday just got more special. For only 50 pesos, you can text and talk all day, every Sunday. So who is it that you love talking to? Is it your mom, your dad, your sister, brother, or that special somebody? Just keep talking all day, every Sunday with MTN Sunday Special. Send the word YES, Y-E-S, to MTN short code 5050 to sign up and say welcome to the new world. MTN, everywhere you go. And Star Assurance, in the 30 years that they have provided solid insurance to you, what they have done is to brighten up your world through all your journeys. And when you walk in for homeowners, contractors, all risk, fire, and allied perils insurance policy, what Star Assurance does more is to make you feel as if these perils or dangers don't exist at all in the world. Insure with Star Assurance today and be part of the smiling family. Star Assurance, that is your solid partner. Also, Prostacure. There's a Prostacure tea, and this is a specially formulated health drink that improves frequent urination during the day and night, delayed urination, straining during urination, urgency to urinate, interruption of urine flow, and dribbling of urine after urination. You heard that, dribbling of the urine after urination. Prostacure from Medimosis Prostate Center. They are located at Adenta Barrier, Tema, Ajay Kojo, or Henema Kokobing in Kumasi. You can call them 020-8140-668 or 0244-068447. 0244-068447. That is Medimosis. Get there and get the best of treatment for all your urinary problems. We'll be right back after this break to ask the question whether or not now you have that liberty to walk into any government or public institution and demand information, and you'll be giving it freely without any hesitation.